2016 is round the corner and we decided to make a Game of the Year awards before the year ends, cause why the hell not? 2015 was not an eventful year, not as at least as 2014 was, and it certainly didn't have all the nonsense associated with it. While we had a lot of surprises and some hidden gems come out in the light, AAA certainly, for one more year, managed to underwhelm us in most cases. But there's no reason to falter.
So at this point, we might as well lay this down. Our top games of 2015. In a list, ready to be explained and all, right? Okay, so because some confusion was caused by the format last year, here's how it works. We each have 5 games on our top list, so basically it's 2 top 5 lists instead of a top 10 list. But we unify it and use the top 2 places for 1.5 each, so everything's fair. That means whoever speaks, that person has that particular game in his list. Number 10.
Life is Strange. Well, writing this without having played episode 5, that many people told me is not amazing, I still think that Life is Strange is a great game in many levels. Did it progress or innovate? Not really. Did the mechanics balance well? No, they didn't. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't a great experience and I invested both time and feelings behind, thus bringing it so high up my list. Any game on my honourable mentions could have been here, as well as many others in their place, but since I can't really put every single game here, this one takes the cake. Number 9.
Nuclear Throne. Roguelikes are a thing this year, aren't they? Well, one of them was bound to appear here. Nuclear Throne is basically a lie. I mean, I never actually got to see Nuclear Throne. That is because there's a shit ton of enemies always shooting at your general direction, so how about we fight back? With a crap ton of random based weapons, it's basically virtually impossible to get to the end each time. Sometimes luck screws you over, and other times, well, it does again. But with enough practice and patience, Nuclear Throne is an edgy game that will surely keep you busy for quite a while. Number 8.
Sunless Sea. Well, talking about great lore, Sunless Sea. That game out of early access had an actually functional and not completely bollocks combat system. I mean, let's face it, the early access combat was terrible. Looked great, played fairly good, and was as atmospheric as one would ever want a game to be. The roguelike mechanics didn't add much in my opinion, however the general feel was great enough. So even though this minor gripe might make the game slightly less enjoyable than it might have been, it also manages to emphasize how little value human life has, the dangers of the sea, and enhance the fragile nature of relations. Number 7.
Hotline Miami 2! What Hotline Miami achieved in the first title, the second one came in to finish the job. The story mode that keeps you collecting clues for what is happening and the never-ending massacre keeps the rage fuel tank full at all times. This time you get to pick characters which have unique masks that allow you to kill with style. The multiple timelines you get to play get twisted and tangled as you try to get a closer look at what happened back in Nam. The gameplay is smooth and unforgiving, thus giving the game great replay value for score. Number 6!
Pillars of Eternity. CRPGs. Yes. More core genres. This year, while it mightn't have as many as last year, we still kind of got great variety of core games and Pillars of Eternity was amazing. I personally ranked it higher on my CRPG list than I did Divinity Original Sin, as the lore was more refined, the writing better and it looked more stylish, and we know how much I love that game. Endless hours of content, a beautiful map to explore, great aesthetic, fun combat. I mean, I can't really complain about any of it, really. Number 5.
Armello. If I could have a video game made out in real life board game, that would be Armello. Armello is the game that almost slipped under my radar. With a sudden appearance on Steam, it got me guessing. Well, I guess I got my answers. Being a board game in its core with deep strategic gameplay, it's easily loved by everyone that admires a good work done on a PC game. Not to mention that the atmosphere with the graphics and all is really outstanding. RNG is still a problem that might make someone avoid it, but that's the case with every board game ever, so that's not really an excuse to avoid it. With a great amount of goals to achieve, it's difficult to let down, so one can only assume you can play it with friends infinitely. Just expect some of these friendships to be ruined shortly after you send them the greeting party, let's say. Number 4.
Witcher 3. Yep, I can see nobody expected that, did you? Well, I did. I never made my review for Witcher 3 on time, thus I decided to wait it all out and create one with the entirety of it. That means a compiled review of the core game, the DLC, the expansions. So, why is this game great? Well, an amazing storyline, a great world to explore, great writing, characters, lore. Well, yeah, it may not run great in lower end systems, but damn is it a pretty game. Number 3.
Mortal Kombat X! Well, ain't that a great development for a Mortal Kombat game? Mortal Kombat X gave me countless hours of fun with both my friends and solo, as my experience was outstanding this time. The game felt really crisp and sleek, so it kept me going for quite a while. One thing to look out for is the kind of awful PC port, but it's still a great game. Easy to pick up, but hard to master, Mortal Kombat X gave it all in this year's top 10.
Honorable mentions! So, we both have a set of honorable mentions. Those are games that were good. Not amazing, good. So, let's kick it off.
Secret Ponchos. Secret Ponchos is a stick shooter made for consoles that got a port to PC. Well, stick shooters don't really work that well on PC. That's why I didn't even place it in my top 10. The multiplayer is still buggy, and with no story mode to play alone, it's kind of tiring after some point. But the core is still great. Guild of Dungeoneering. Doomed is the fate of all Dungeoneers. Well, that's what the game makes you believe until you find that particular class that will help you deal with all and any encounters. Another card game, simple to the core, yet fascinating. Hand of Fate. RNG drawn to life and played like an action platformer. If that's not an interesting concept, I don't know what it is. It's a lot of fun and has tons of content to unlock. Don't let that bad draw disappoint you, as you can always fight your way through the results.
Volume, stealth, great aesthetic, interesting aesthetic. What else do you want? Well, less filler, more killer for one, but nah, whatever. Still a really fun game. The Swindle, stealth again, woe am I original. The janky controls might kinda make it less enjoyable, but still a great looking game with lots of hours of roguelikey fun. Dark Dooms Don't Die. Talking about janky controls, this thing. Did it come out for Xbox One last year? Yeah. Do I care? Nah. A weird Japanese game about something. Mystery, I guess? Invisible Inc. Another stealth game in this list, and a great looking one. Clay always have that particular thing with aesthetics, and I cannot really argue with how good they look.
1.5.
Satellite Rain. Syndicate. No, not that one. Let's forget about that one ever existed. So, Syndicate. That game was certainly something, wasn't it? I don't know. Well, most people that got into gaming recently probably don't even know what it is. Well, let me enlighten you. It's a real-time, asymmetric, top-down RPG with various elements thrown in. Stealth, hacking, just, everything anyone could ever desire. Really, Satellite Rain manages to create original IP, put in new mechanics to the mix, be original, look great, and waste way too many hours of your life. For all intents and purposes, I can't understand why anyone would challenge this value proposition. So, 2015, a standout year really, and Satellite Rain, damn. That's the bloody icing on the cake, mate. 1.5.
Undertale! Undertale is one of those games that when you take a first glance you think you trip back to an 80s Atari game. Well, apart from the graphics part, that honestly could be better, everything else in its aspect is awesome. Boss that will surprise you, a story that will make you fall in love with the characters that without a doubt are really well thought, and each and every one feels unique and special. Even basic puzzle solving is here, something that was actually apart from these kind of games. If there's one thing that I would advise to anyone is to play this game. And I mean, seriously, it's not even that huge, but it's something that will take a place in your memory forever.
It's been a year since we made that last Game of the Year's awards videos thing, and considering it's been the most memorable one we've done up so far, although I can't really say anyone does remember us or anything, I can say that we've come a short way. We didn't really involve or produce much, and I can say that in the past year I didn't learn as much as I wanted to, but I kind of learned something. So, from Smooth Lemon, who wishes you people a happy holiday, yet has some issues in being able to verbalize that thought, and, well, I might as well make his outro. It's been fun. Until next year, I've been happy to be here. Smooth Lemon thinks the same, it's just retard. Have a nice holiday from me, from Smooth Lemon, and see you guys next time. Also, for those moronic enough not to know me, I'm Lot for Never.